Hey everybody, welcome to Para-Ops Open-Minded Paranormal Skeptics. I am your host, Sky. Before we go into introductions, because I don't want to save this, I'm just going to tell you, we're going to give you an EVP from Hell House. It's our favorite place. And if you haven't, check it out. Go to Eventbrite and get some tickets of your own to join us. But now we're going to move on to some introductions. Larissa, you want to start?
Hi. Yes, hi. It's Larissa. I am your co-host for the evening. I'm also, hey Frank, I'm also the CEO of Third Eye Event Productions and one of the founders of P.A.R.A.
Okay, and we're going to head on over to our senior case manager.
I'm Marlena Beers. I'm the senior case manager and also the PR for Third Eye Event Productions.
And tonight we have a very special guest. Natalie, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
My name's Natalie. I am the founder and lead investigator for Darkly Obscured Paranormal Investigations. I am also a member of the Warren Legacy Foundation for Paranormal Research. So I work alongside with them, helping everybody. It really doesn't matter. We've helped so many people and still continue to work cases. So yeah, I'm thrilled to be on here. Can't wait to listen to the EVP.
We're very excited to have you.
Super excited. I did not know you were associated with the Warren Legacy Foundation. So that means you know our buddy, Dr. Kenneth.
Oh, yes. I love Ken.
So do we. He's my buddy. He's coming out for the USS Salem in July.
Yeah, he's actually one of the people in charge of my division for the Western Division. So we're on the same team for that.
So you're in the West Coast?
Yeah, well, not the West Coast. So I'm actually in Topeka, Kansas now, which cuts the border, I guess, off. So I'm considered Western, even though I feel it's more Midwest still. I mean, if I've got cornfields, it's still the Midwest. But, you know, it is what it is. But I help clear across the U.S. Anytime a team needs help, I can go out to them and help or assist virtually.
Now, aren't you also coming to Hell House Paracon?
That was the plan. We're still trying to work some things. So I've had some family emergencies come up. My mom is currently battling stage 4 gastric and liver cancer. So that has put a damper into some plans. So we're trying to work around that right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Well, what do you do for the Warren Legacy Foundation? Because I believe you're a psychic, aren't you?
So I am. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a little bit of everything. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I am a practicing witch as well. I practice Norse paganism. So that is something that I'm able to lend my expertise on investigations for protection and cleansings, things of those nature. Mostly I just do research. I'm currently the only one located out in Kansas right now. So I am currently working on building my division out here for that team, plus my team that I have here, and then my original OG team, which is in St. Louis, Missouri. So we're a little bit all over the place.
Okay. All right. Well, we have an exciting one for you tonight. I don't think Sky and Marlena were actually on the team for the background of or for this EVP. You guys weren't with us, were you?
No, if I saw the date correct, I was not. It was like 2 months before I joined.
Right. So I'll tell you, Natalie, what's really cool about this clip is I believe that this is the universe kind of coming full circle. So I am Catholic by upbringing, and that's how I raise my children. But I also believe in pretty much everything. I'm a pretty bad Catholic, actually. But I do believe that the universe works in mysterious ways. And one of those ways is this. This clip was taken on the first investigation that ever happened at Hell House. And how this happened was this. My daughter auditioned at Hell House to be a scare actress. And she, at the time, was 15 years old. And she was into makeup. and she's very talented artist. Now she's almost 17, and she's probably going into something with art. She's in CCT, she's in a an institute, like a college kind of half-day thing for art. So anyway, at the time she was going to do makeup as a scare actress, and she's also a medium, passed to her from me. She went there to do that and to audition, and lo and behold, she comes home and she says, "Mom, it's haunted." And I said, "Honey, you're probably just scared. It's the ambiance. It's a haunted attraction. You know, it happens. Sometimes we get in our head. Sometimes it's hard to decipher if it's really what we're feeling, or, you know, you're young." And she said, "No, Mom, it's haunted. You need to contact my boss and see if you can go in there." So this was the first investigation we ever did. And the universe full circle means this. It was on September 9th of 2021. And we're having Hell House Paracon on September 9th, 2023. And when I tell you that we did pick that date, we accidentally picked that date, because when we were looking for evidence to do this show with you tonight, Sky was trying to go through clips, and she found an edited version of the EVP. And what I mean by edited is this. We were trying to like amplify it so you could hear it better when we originally went through our evidence back in 2021. So we wanted to use the original clip for ops, because obviously we want you guys to hear the unedited version. We want to hear, you know, we want to give you something untouched. And I couldn't find the original files. So I had to scrape and scour and go through my Google Drive. And lo and behold, I found September 9th, 2021. And I said, "Oh my, that's the date of our Paracon." So it's funny how the universe works. So that's now mine and my business partner's romantic anniversary date, September 9th. No, it's Hell House is now that's our anniversary date for Hell House. But anyway, this was taken September 9th. It was the very first investigation we ever did. Hello, I don't know who a Facebook user is, but if you're commenting, please say who you are, because I want to say hi to you. So it was the first time we were ever in the house. I have to say, you know this as a medium, sometimes when you can't pick up, when you know that they're there, you can sense male, female, you can sense kind of an era, you can sense certain things about them, but they kind of hide other aspects about them, and you're blocked, you can't read them. It felt like that the first time in there. Now I'm very familiar 2 years later with who's in that house. But at that time I didn't know who was there, and I was very unnerved. So you can hear it in my voice when we caught this EVP. So
you ready to hear it?
Yeah.
All right.
Heard something.
Somebody just yelled, "Jesus Christ."
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
Hold on. From you playing it before, it started like in the middle.
Yeah, it's okay. What did you just say?
Nothing. Nobody said anything. I heard something.
Somebody just yelled, "Jesus Christ."
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
She's like,
That was it. I was rattled.
And that's the unedited version?
Yes.
That's unedited, yes.
Yes.
I believe that's what we classify as a class A. That's clear as day. I mean,
it was in my ear. I jumped about 50 feet in the air.
wow. Yeah, that's definitely that's a good one. That's a really good one. I mean, I've only had maybe a handful over the years of doing this that I've gotten something on audio that is that clear without having to enhance anything. Because unfortunately, when you start editing and enhancing, even when you're not trying to manipulate it, the wrong amount of too much can alter what you're hearing. So that's awesome to be able to hear something like that.
Okay.
Yes, Facebook user will play it again.
Yep.
What did you just say?
Nothing. Nobody said anything. I heard something.
Somebody just yelled, Jesus Christ.
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
So it's a yell to me because of my clairaudience abilities. Obviously, nobody else is hearing this, so of course I feel like I sound crazy.
Alan did say that he heard a mumble.
He heard a mumble. I heard a scream.
Yeah. There's a very large difference.
Natalie, help me here. You're like the first psychic we've had on.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those because especially when you're just starting to understand your abilities, people they don't take it seriously. They don't understand, the way that we perceive things, the way that we see things, feel things, know things, is just entirely different. And it's just like somebody took that and just plopped it inside your brain. It was like, oh, now it's your memory. And now you know it. And there's no reason for you to know it. And it's extremely overwhelming. And it's shocking as hell every time it happens. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I've woken up with somebody doing this in my ear. And it's just like, listen, from this time to this time, I'm business hours are open. But if I'm sleeping, you need to take a number and have a seat. Because it's so much. And what does come over as a whisper can sound so much more amplified, especially the more that we harness those abilities and learn to work with them. And at the same time, open ourselves up to being able to receive those easier. You're not blocking that transmission.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Marianne.
Oh, hi, Marianne. Hello.
What else we got?
Hi, Sarah. Oh, my goodness. She's coming out to Hell House in August. August 5th. I can't wait to meet you. She's coming all the way from Canada.
Oh, wow. That's a drive. You're going to love it. It's a fun place.
Yeah, I want to go. I really want to make it out.
You would love it. So we just had Beyond the Walls, and they're gonna be coming on. So I don't want to ruin their special episode. But I did warn Sarah, who is gifted, about one of the entities there, and I said she will speak to you. Yes, I can't wait either, Sarah. But I did warn her, and I said one of the entities there will get up. She'll get real close to you, so close it's almost like you could feel her breath. Like, obviously you can't, but you feel it like she's right there. And she did get my friend. She got her in the bar. So they're fun. They're not evil and they're not bad. They're mischievous.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this EVP, one of my pet peeves, or not pet peeves, I don't like that. Like, I don't like the like saying Jesus Christ. Like, I don't like that. And I feel like when we were walking through initially, there's parts of the house, because remember, it is a haunted attraction. So there's parts of the house that are a little more geared towards that diabolical, like, the more like Reagan exorcist type rooms. And I feel like as we were going through there, I was a little more uncomfortable, and I feel like the entity picked up on that. And so that was when it yelled at me. It got me.
Yeah. I don't know. I threw up a comment from Alan. I don't know if you saw it.
That's all. I was laughing at that comment when I saw it pop up. I couldn't help it.
You got to come out, Natalie. You'll have fun in there.
I want to. I really want to make that trip. I mean, it is a drive. So there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, people see a lot of us, we travel and we go to all these places, but I don't think people really understand what goes into it, the expense, the time. Yeah. And we don't get paid for this stuff. I mean, this is all out of pocket. I mean, not just paying for bills and our families, but I mean, this is everything. So we really do have to kind of pick and choose. If we had it our way, we'd be at every event. We'd never be home. But, it's just, it doesn't work that way. And then, family stuff happens and you just got to pick and choose. Because I know this won't be the last time. I don't expect it to be your guys' last time being out there. So I will make my way out there. If it's not this year, I will make my way out there. It's hands down. I can't wait to
it's a very expensive hobby. As a matter of fact, Angie, my business partner, because remember, we don't own the venue. We're the hosting team.
Yep.
But Angie, who does own the venue, she did open it up to paranormal teams to do, which it took me like a year to convince her. So, this is her baby, and she didn't believe it was haunted. She didn't believe it was haunted. As a matter of fact, the funniest part of this whole thing is she watches us on the cameras because she has the control room, and she laughs. For like a year and a half, she's been laughing at us like, oh, you guys are crazy. You guys are silly. She was in there with our friends from Interstate. One of them came over, and we were discussing a possible collaboration, and he was standing there with her. I wasn't there. She called me up frantic, and she's like, I had my first paranormal experience finally. And I guess she was standing there, and something just, I imagine, walked through her, because I've had that happen there. She said it was just like a blanket of cold, but it wasn't like a breeze. It just walked through her. She's never had that happen.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Poor Angie.
She's in her own little world there, walking around in the dark like it's nothing.
The Scream Queen finally got her fair share of
Meanwhile, I have to ask you this, Natalie, because I know the answer for Sky. I think Marlena's a little braver, but I know Sky and me are not. I won't go anywhere alone. I don't care. You can call me a sissy. I won't go sit alone. I won't go do like point of view experiments by myself. I don't care. You can call me a sissy. I'm not afraid of any humans, but I am afraid to go sit by my damn self, and I won't do it. Will you?
Yes. Maybe a little reluctantly at first. Especially until someone says, I bet you won't do it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, let me show you. And then I go and then I do it. And then halfway through it and things start happening, get touched, hearing, and I'm like, damn it.
That's how I felt this past weekend.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is good, even just from a researcher's point of view, to be able to eliminate other people in the room, other people there, other forms of contamination. But then you lean into the safety side of things. And, I do have a history of seizures. So, if I was to just drop and have a seizure, nobody's going to know. And it's probably going to be at least an hour before someone comes to check on me.
Oh, gosh.
So, it's one of those, like, there is a safety feature to it all. But there is also that wanting to know that, it's not somebody whispering. It's not somebody moving around, or they kicked a pebble on the floor. It's all those things, because when you take away, especially when you're in pitch black, your sight's gone. So now all your other senses are heightened, and you're listening for anything you can possibly pick up on. And, and that's just part of it. We
like to stick the guys alone, and then the girls go out of the room. We're like, bye. Like,
for me, it's basements. I hate basements with a passion.
Attic, only ones.
A tunnel, an attic. I don't care. A morgue bed. You put me in there, and I'm okay. But the moment I have to go down the stairs into a basement, peace out. I'm done. Or somebody has to be down there with me, because I just can't. I feel, and I'm not a claustrophobic type of person, but when I go down there, I feel like those walls are just coming in. And I have found that the basements tend, whether it be limestone or not, they tend to conjugate in the lower extremities of a building. And when I walk down there, they're like, ding, lighthouse. Hi, how's it going? And then it's just this wave of emotions and thoughts and feelings and sensations that even for a typical person is extremely overwhelming. But when you have a neurodivergent person, it is just out of this world.
Yeah.
I think the scariest thing for me being alone is, and Sky has seen this, and I think Marlena has seen this. I know when they get right in my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I've pointed it out many times, and they've caught it on SLS when I'm like, somebody's in my face, and it'll show up on SLS. I don't like when they lean down in my face, and they do. They do. And my strongest sense is not even sight. My strongest is hearing. And I don't know if you all heard, but that was loud. So when they when they get that close to me, it's too close. I just can't.
And
I
that's
can't
where,
do it.
as mediums, we have to put up those boundaries. We have to make rules, not just for the living, but for the spirit world as well. And, you said with not being your first time, and then as you've continued to go back, you become more familiar, more acquainted. And they have done the same. And they know what you're doing. They know that you're there, and they know how you interact. And if you were doing something you're not supposed to, I guarantee they would have told you.
Right.
And they would have made it known that you're not welcome here, but you are. You're doing something that they can approve of. And I think the way that you feel, not quite so, abrasive at times, is because of that. And they've got a common understanding. And I guarantee if some other entity was to come in and is not part of that little group that is normally there, they're going to come tell you. And they're going to be like, you take care of this and get it out now, because this isn't who's supposed to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. You're right. And there is an understanding now. There is. And there's comfort there. And when you meet hosting teams at other places, they're why doing this for a couple of places where hosting teams would tell us stuff, and I would find it interesting because it's their perspective and they've been there and they know these entities, and I'm coming in and I'm a stranger and I'm like, okay, well, I'll meet them and I'll figure it out. But they've had this rapport with them, and then you meet the entities and you're like, oh, this is so different from what they're saying. But now we have a venue and I'm like, it is so different. Like, I know these entities, like they're my friends. They're not, but it's like they're my friends.
With spirits, just the same way we do as with humans. The only difference is half the time you can't hear or see them.
Yeah. Right.
And I know how they're still there.
And I know how they're going to react to personalities. Like, I know certain friends coming in, I'll look at them and I'll be like, yeah, the guy in the attic's not going to like you.
Yeah, and I do try to leave like my personal opinions at the door. I really try not to give that power of suggestion, because Alan just made the comment. People can psych themselves out. Yeah. And when it comes to something like that, I mean, when you hear like, oh, I got scratched, oh, I got pushed, all this, you're now expecting those things to happen, and that you're hyper fixating on it, and it completely throws everything out. I mean, the way that we look at it, even just from the researching side, it is a science experiment. And everything that we do, we make a hypothesis, a conclusion, we work it out, and we have all these different trials to make up for it. And then we go back and we look at that research, and we're able to kind of piece things together. But when you bring in something like an opinion or a thought that has been implanted, that trial is no longer valid because it's been tampered with. And you can't make an accurate assumption or a decision on what's going on if you've already been, polluted with all this other stuff.
Absolutely. And there is, just so you know, there is nothing like that in Hell House. So if you ever come, there's nothing like that there. And
I will be there, I promise.
It is so bad. The name of it is Hell House because of the movie, but it's really the Waldorf Estate of Fear. We just use Hell House because it's the more common name.
I have a location that I have a love-hate relationship with, the Vallis Mines Lost History Museum, and I talk about it. I mean, I've been there time and time again. But I mean, I've had everything from an axe head being thrown and landing where I was just standing to rocks and boulders that will, come sliding off the shelf, and they'll pelt you on the back of the legs, and, you'll walk out with bruises by the end of the night. I had a full body apparition walk right up to me and, got within a couple of feet from me before fight or flight kicked in, and then over the car hood I went. But, it's one of those types of things. Like, this location has a lot of activity. But when you have locations where a lot of people come in, people bring their own baggage. They bring their own attachments. And, it's kind of like a dump yard. They come in and they drop their bags and then they leave. But when you have a location that you visit so often and other people come in, sometimes you do come across new things because it wasn't there before because somebody else has brought it in. And I think a lot of some really big haunted locations that absolutely had something going on there, but now the activity is different, or maybe it's not quite the same. And a lot of that's because it's not the same entity that was there to begin with.
Yeah.
Artemis.
Definitely.
Aw, cute.
Sarah's
Have
got a
groups
question,
that come
Melissa.
through lately collected yes. So Sarah, we have another Sarah coming on, I believe in April. No, in
March.
March
in
4th.
March
Oh,
4th.
that's my birthday.
5th.
5th,
Well,
March 5th.
March 5th.
Sunday, not Saturday.
I got you.
For a special edition episode, right? Help me out
Yes.
here, guys. I'm a terrible
Yes.
host. So
Yes.
there's a special edition happening. It's the Para. Help me out again. Don't know what it's called. Is it?
It's
is it
Para-Ops.
It's just
Just
okay. It's
special.
just an ops
Well,
episode.
it is a Para-Ops episode,
Okay.
but it is tailored specifically to Hell House, and I forget the name that Larissa had come up with.
Oh, Surviving Hell House.
That's what it was, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, and it's every time a team comes through, we're gonna do Surviving Hell House, and we're gonna do like an hour episode, and we're gonna ask teams to bring their best evidence, and we're gonna talk about what they found. And Sarah from Beyond the Walls Paranormal has already sent one of her clips that we didn't ask for. She just sent it, and I'm not gonna show it, but it was, and I'm not gonna talk about what it was, but it was amazing, and she got by the entity that I warned her about, and I'm excited, and she loved it. So hopefully she has some more stuff. And yes, we're going to talk about that stuff. We have another group coming through in April. We'll talk to them. I think another one's coming through after, 2 more are coming through in April.
Mhm.
And then, so every time one comes through, we'll definitely do an episode.
So
Yes.
keep that in mind, those of you that want to come through in the future. You're coming on. We want to see your evidence. We want to hear your experience, because ours are cool, but yours are cooler because you're new to the spirits.
Yeah.
They're used to us. They're like,
anybody
get
out
out of
there
the house.
and anybody out there that wants to rent Hell House, I think we have like 6 dates left. We had to reduce our dates down because of other events. Next year we'll have more available. We
You'll
do
have
have
to send me
overnights
the
now.
information for bringing the team in.
Say again?
And so you'll have to send me the information about getting
Absolutely.
the team in there.
Absolutely.
Two of my investigators are getting ready to pop a baby out here in a couple months. So we've been on a bit of a hiatus lately.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, it'd be nice to, get them back into it again. So
what's the road trip from Kansas? 20 something hours, right? I was supposed to be stationed in Leavenworth. I think it's like 28 hours.
It's like 20 minutes from me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's far. I know.
Yeah. Because I'm an hour outside of Kansas City.
Yeah, it was ridiculously far. I was like, no, Army. No.
Yeah.
No.
Hello, Dr. Kenneth.
Hi, Dr. Ken. All right, let's play the EVP clip one more time, or another couple times. Let's see. Everybody's waiting. I know Casey.
Wait. Before I do that, let me show you the comments that I didn't throw up quick.
All right.
This one I want to throw up because it has Hanoverville Roadhouse. That was Marianne, I believe.
Seeing and hearing things since I was 6 years old. Some spirits say my name on the spirit box saying she is back. Ooh. All right, so we're going to be at Hanover Roadhouse.
She commented that too. On the day after St. Patty's Day, we will be there. It's the St. Patty's Day after party.
Cool, yes.
Gold coins, the chocolate kind.
Yes. In the attic, I have a video of a child saying Papa. Yes, when we were doing our walkthrough, which I've never been there, I told Dennis, Mark, that there were children in the attic. I definitely could sense them playing up there. So
I have a giant bag of lollipops in my pantry that we take when we do investigations, and we know there's going to be kids because we leave the offerings for them as trigger objects.
I have some really cool stuff that I could talk to you about offline, some experiments to do with kids that we tried, and I'll message you.
Phenomenal.
I mean, we're doing the investigation at McIntyre March 1st and 2nd. And my birthday's on the 3rd. So we're going to do a little mini birthday party on the 2nd while we're there.
Awesome.
And see if the spirits will sing me happy birthday. So
that's fun.
That's my experiment.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're always trying to do new stuff. definitely.
Of all the years, I've never investigated on my birthday, so I'm kind of excited for this.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Hello, cousin.
Hi, cousin Fabian.
I don't know if that was him as
Hello.
well because it says hello, y'all, but hello, Facebook user.
Hello.
And I just want to throw this comment up from Alan because it is to Natalie. Said spot on, Natalie, and articulated so perfectly. Also important to remember to respect the venue and the spirits. Trying to make a connection and just not ask the standard questions. They don't perform on command. They do not. They'll give you a show, but not on command.
You know, it's rare that my other half will do investigations with me, but when he does, the way that he communicates during an EVP session just kind of blows me away because it's not your standard questions. Like, he talks to them as though it's like you and me talking right now. Right. I mean, just the way that he interacts, they're not just so one-sided, and we always get so much better responses when he does that because it's that connection that's being made.
Somebody told me a long time ago, and I've used it ever since. When you're talking to them, ask them questions like, what is your favorite memory? Do you remember your first kiss? What was like personal, get personal. And, I don't use it all the time. I use it when I feel like it's appropriate at the place that we're at, or when I feel like the spirit is connecting on that level. But it does spark a better connection, I think. And we do get better EVPs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spirits have
and
no
Facebook
time
user.
limits.
Spirits have no time limits. I believe
Agreed.
that one was Marianne.
Yep.
Agreed.
I'm going to play the EVP again.
What did you just say?
Nothing. I heard something.
Somebody just yelled, Jesus Christ.
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
Honestly, I just picture Larissa turning around with like a rolled up newspaper and just swatting the person behind her.
If she had one, she would. She'd be like, be quiet.
You know, Natalie, my poor husband, when we're in Hell House, he's always standing beside me or behind me. And I'm 5'10", he's 6'3". I will hit him. I don't care.
Her and Sky are lethal.
I don't care.
I'm going to throw that comment back up for those of you that just joined us.
Sky, on the other hand, will swing at nothing.
Yeah, she swings.
I don't swing at nothing. There's always somebody there, but they're coming at they're coming through the darkest hallway in the building, and they don't say a word. And I already sensed there was somebody next to me before they were coming, so they're getting the ghost swing, but it's a real person.
Yeah,
you know, the ghost
she doesn't tell them either. She just swings. Like, she doesn't like walk out. Like,
Alan has, like, I have 4 brothers and 3 of them are older. So I'm always thinking that my husband is like, you know what I mean? Always trying to get to me. So whenever I hear that, I always think he's like pranking me. I'm always on edge. Like it's a prank. And he always has this look on his face like, what? Like, and it's not him. And I think it's him. So I want to hit him. But it's usually not. It's like when we play back, I have to believe it's not him. It doesn't sound like him.
The feet running up behind you and then they stop right before they hit you. I hate that. That is like, that I turn around and I start swinging on.
I jumped on our cameraman. I jumped on him. The poor guy.
Yeah.
Sarah said she jumped like Scooby-Doo into Shaggy's arms to her husband during one investigation. She hasn't lived it down. You never do. Once you get scared and you do something dramatic, they don't let you live it down. Like me.
No, because Angie does it to Larissa all the time.
It's terrible. Terrible. And you know
rare,
what?
Sometimes you'll get like a eep out of me.
Well, when Sky gets scared, she gets hiccups.
No. Okay, so I have an anxiety tick. I guess it's a form of Tourette's, but it's an anxiety tick. And so anytime I get anxious, it sounds like a scream depending on how loud it comes out. I don't know what's coming, so I can't warn you guys. I scared the daylights out of Larissa, Marlena, and Alan this past weekend.
You scared Alan last Sunday?
Just this past weekend, yeah.
Yeah, Alan jumped.
He was outside the door.
was like, "What happened? Are you okay?"
Yeah. Did you just get slammed in a door?
Yeah, you don't want that moment, Casey.
No, you don't want that moment.
She's like, we're like,
you know,
what is that?
when I was putting up a lot of our videos, one thing that I noticed that the viewers really enjoyed the most were blooper reels of those moments.
Yeah.
And, we could post our evidence and have the greatest evidence in the world and we get, 30, 40, 50 views. But I post a blooper reel up and within an hour, it's like 1,000 views and people just love it. And for me, I think it's because it makes that personal connection.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to see like how we are. Yes, we're investigators. We're serious. We're there. We're doing our job, but we're still human. We still get spooked. We still, the random F-bomb tends to fly out when we're not planning it. Those are the moments. Like, I mean, I have so many memories of things like that, being in the cemetery and the guys hiking up a pant leg and putting it out there like they're trying to catch a ride. Like, those kinds of things. Those are just the crazy things that we would do.
We had one investigator. My husband is a big man.
Yeah.
And we had one investigator jump out and swing at him. And Ellen just looked at him and went, "What are you doing?"
So I'm tiny. I'm only 4'10". And
she's shorter than me.
Yeah, like I am small, but get out of the way. Move. If I'm coming through, you better move because I'm taking you with me.
That's me. It's always the little ones you gotta watch out for.
Yeah.
My favorite is when I yell, "Son of a!" He pops up in a hallway that they shouldn't be there. They do it all the time in Hell House. Why are you popping up in a haunted house that's a haunted attraction? What are you doing?
My biggest pet peeve is whispers. When people are, when you're recording, you're wanting to catch things. So you feel like if you whisper, then you're not going to like either be heard or. I hate that because when I'm reviewing evidence, if I have to do half an hour of listening to an audio clip just to find out that you decided to let one rip and didn't want to claim it, like I'm gonna be pissed. Like I am not going to be happy.
Wait,
that was
Natalie,
the weekend.
But Natalie, did you ever? Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Did you ever wear your EVP recorder on your vest in the porta potty and then have somebody else review your evidence repeatedly on different investigations? Because we have.
So the very first team I was a part of was a family team. And we were at a location, they had the porta potty. My grandmother was in there. And my uncle decided to go up and start shaking the porta potty with her in it, and it almost tipped with her inside. Oh yeah, we're not a very nice family.
They should do a show. They should do a show following investigators around just for the bloopers. It shouldn't be about investigating. It should just be about what we do that's comical.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'd have they would have a wonderful show on just only bloopers.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be the same team because I think you could get funny shit on all of us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I think body cams should be like a must.
Oh no. Andrew's had people have a real private conversation on an EVP that he had to speak to them. Triple X, is that what's going?
So
well, it's not private no more.
Alan,
he does. He got blamed for a smell this past weekend.
Because it stunk. That's why. And I know it wasn't Sky or Marlena or me, and it stunk.
Oh.
And you know what the worst part is? We were on a live, and our guest that called in said it was demonic.
He did. He goes, "Sewage, that's a demon." It's a demon. Meanwhile, I was terrified to sleep alone that night because of it, because I have the most active
You
room.
were terrified. He was in my bed.
But my room was active.
I told
you to come to my room.
I was okay. I had the trail cam on me, so I apologize.
Natalie, do you see what I mean?
That just makes it better. You have the chill camera on. That's going to protect you.
Where's Dr. Cat's ethereal flashlight?
Hey, when there is no power at these locations, maybe we just need to get a generator that runs off that. Just hook the guys up to it.
He said he remembers that
Like
moment
Casey
from the live
remembers on the live stream when I asked Alan if he farted.
He did. He did. I was scared. I asked to have a trail cam on me all night because of that comment. So I'm sorry if you guys hear me urinate.
You need to come and investigate with us because you'll just have fun.
I want to. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to find the time to come out.
Oh, gosh.
So, but Vallis Mines, the one that I was talking about, we're going to be doing an open investigation there the first weekend of June. So we're going to be.
Which one?
Vallis Mines Lost History Museum, the one where I had the full body apparition come up.
Oh, nice.
We're getting ready to release tickets for that are coming up. So
where is that?
Vallis Mines, Missouri. It's about an hour south of St. Louis. It's in just past Jefferson County.
That's awesome. And that's my birthday, first weekend in June.
Yeah. So it's also, ironically, it's the Pagan Picnic there in St. Louis that we do every year. But this year we decided to do the ghost hunt instead. So there's you can go do pagan-y, witchy stuff during the day and then come go ghost hunting with me at night.
That's
That's
smart.
awesome. Send me the link for that.
We'll do. Yeah, we're going to be releasing it here soon. I think we were going to do it next week. But
Birthday trip, Larissa.
yeah.
Oh, don't tempt me. I'm banned from booking anything overseas at this point because I boil myself in the sun. So.
Well, we're not going overseas. Alan, me and Larissa are taking a trip for our birthday.
Missouri.
We're a day apart. Bye, guys.
Well,
yeah, me and Sky, we're a day apart.
Just get one big van. Everybody ride down.
No,
and then I'll ride back with you.
We need a girls trip. The girl trip.
Yeah, we're not taking Alan. You heard about him. We're not taking him in a van.
I don't think we're going to make it happen this year, but at least for next year, we're trying to do a paranormal camp out.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we're hunting down locations right now to find the perfect spot. But we were talking about having, some guest speakers, maybe a couple of small vendors coming out, and then everybody has their tents set up. Hopefully it's a haunted campsite, but those are apparently really hard to locate at this point in my area.
Isn't every one of them haunted?
I mean, the woods. It's the woods.
In some way, right. Yeah, right. So we're trying to do that, and then we can tell ghost stories by the fire. Because what better way to do it?
That's scary. Now that's somewhere I won't go.
Yeah.
By myself. Party at Alan's house. Yeah, you can come to our house. It's haunted.
He said, "Don't threaten me with a good time traveling without me."
I'll see you in June, Natalie.
Yeah,
with Jason.
Gettysburg. Who said Gettysburg? Facebook user.
I don't know what it is.
Gettysburg.
Well, let's play the clip again.
Yes. Yeah. Now that we've had all this wonderful talk about people's gas.
Y'all are hilarious. I do all the drugs.
What did you just say?
Nothing. Nobody said anything. I heard something.
Somebody just yelled, Jesus Christ.
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
I think it's the nothing that makes me laugh. What did you say? Nothing. I can just picture the look on his face when he said nothing.
And the other members sound like they're in panic.
No, that's not him in the background. That's our other medium, Linda, in the background.
Oh, was that her voice?
That's Linda. She was very uncomfortable. Linda's probably one of the most talented mediums I've ever met. And she's just very talented. And she was so uncomfortable the whole time. And when I said, who said that, she was like, nothing, no one. Like, just like, because the whole time she was like, we're being followed. There's this guy, there's this lady, like the whole time. And I'm like, shut up, Linda. Like the whole time. Like, stop saying that, Linda. I was so uncomfortable because she kept telling me.
Marlena, what do you think about the clip? I know you have to run.
I like that clip a lot.
You do.
I think it's hysterical because I know how you and Alan are. So just picturing it in my head is like perfect. I'm like, yep. It's paranormal, so I'm good with it.
Okay. She answered the question, being paranormal. I know you had to run, so I figured I'd get your input before.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Everybody say bye to Marlena.
Hi, Marlena.
Nice meeting you.
Can I just say that this time around, I know it says Jesus Christ. I know it does because I listened to it so many times, but I wasn't like completely paying attention and I heard cheese and crackers. I just
To go with my wine.
Ooh. It has to at least be a blackberry wine.
It's a classy ghost.
I mean, if it's in Angie's building, it better be classy.
Correct.
There's no other way. But I want
Wait till you meet her, Natalie. Wait till you meet her.
She is a lovely, very short woman.
Very classy, and she pops up in
Short as me?
hallways.
Short as me, or am I still the shortest one in the group?
You're
here?
still the shortest one.
I think you're still the shortest. I think me and Angie are about the same height.
I don't know if I've met another investigator that's shorter than me. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty short. I'm the tallest one on my mom's side of the family, and my dad's 6'1". So literally drew the short end of the straw clear across the board.
Bad genetic.
Natalie, I'm taller than all my brothers. Talk about drawing the short end of the straw for them.
Sarah wants to bring wine. Can she do that?
I put it up there because I want to make sure she brings some for me.
I knew that's why you put that there. I saw.
Yeah, I love my wines. I'm a blackberry wine particularly, but I prefer mead. I love mead.
I have a bottle sitting here that I won't touch. If you, when you get to Paracon, I'll make sure. If you get to, hopefully you will. I'll make sure to bring it up there for you.
See, now more motivation. You're just like, here.
Yeah.
Seeker, come here.
That's what she does. She's reeling you in. You are not getting
Cheese
out
and
of this one.
crackers, damn it.
Cheese and crackers and some mead.
I want to play it again just because I heard cheese and crackers.
All right.
What did you just say?
Nothing.
Cheese and crackers.
I heard something.
Somebody just yelled Jesus Christ.
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
I heard cheese. I at least heard the cheese at the beginning.
See, and that kind of goes to show how if someone tells you what you're going to hear, it can alter what you're hearing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And
Good
that's exactly why, because you're like, do you want to hear it before we start? And I'm like, I don't care, but no, I mean, I'm okay not hearing it till we heard it live here. And it's for that reason, because the power of suggestion is so strong. And if you're not careful with what you say, like, I cannot stand when no matter what the sounder is, people automatically go, it's demonic. And I'm like, no, it's not. And now you're going to create mass hysteria because people are going to think it's demonic and it's going to come after them. And that's not the case. I hate that.
I will tell you right now, I don't claim to be a demonologist. I don't claim to be an expert in the paranormal field. I'm just putting that out there right now. But in my experience, which is just somebody who has paranormal gifts, okay, I have only ever experienced a demonic attack one time in my entire life. Now, I'm not saying other people haven't. I'm just saying it's not as rampant as people think it is. I've just not seen it on that scale. I've had people claim it. I've gone into homes where people are like, I know it's demonic. I know it's demonic. And I've gone in and been like, it's not. It's not demonic. Like, I don't feel like that. I'm not qualified to make the judgment call. Like, so I'll send them to somebody, but I personally don't feel like it's as rampant as people think it is.
And, if people want to think that it's demonic, if that's how you're thinking, unless you've got solid evidence to back it up, just don't say anything at all. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all kind of moment. Because especially if, let's say the client is experiencing all this activity and she's had a dozen teams come in and they're all like, yes, it's demonic, it's this, it's that, that can affect their psyche. And mental health alone is already a big issue in the field that we work in. And that just adds to it. And it makes it so much harder because now they've had so many people say it is. They believe it. And no matter how much evidence we give them to prove that it's not, they're not going to believe it.
I also feel like it attracts it. I also feel like it brings it in.
Yep.
Opens you up to it.
Yeah, and when you start bringing in other forms of communication, of divination in, I mean, you're really just opening up a doorway. And, it's like going in, the Estes method. You're going in blinded and you have no hearing, you have no sight, and you're opening up that doorway and going, come on in, it's a party. And you don't know what's coming through that door. You can't see them, you can't hear them. You can just feel it.
Right. I agree 100%. To answer the question that was out there earlier.
Wait, let me pull that up. That one, right?
Yep. The Hell House in August, the VIP tickets so that you could see all the special guests all day long, which would be like Richard Estep, Sam Beltrusis, Shane Pittman from Holzer Files, that whole lineup, all the guest speakers, all that. That's $35 for the VIP access all day long. $25 is general entry. Also, you get the gallery reading with April Bussett. So that's what that is. And then there's also very limited vendor spots left. When I say very limited, I think there's only 3 or 4 vendor spots left.
Oh, it dropped again.
It did. It did. Like a ton of them are gone.
How much are the spots?
Girl,
How
gone.
much are vendor spots?
Oh.
So yeah. To answer that question. And then there were some other people that commented some stuff that I would
I know Alan asked, are we offering overnight stays for private investigations?
Yes, we are. We're offering overnight stays. Contact us if you want information on that. I don't believe it's out there like anymore. I think you have to PM us and then we send you the information for overnights because I think we took that down. I don't remember. I might have taken it down. I don't remember what I did. Hi, Dave. Hello. Hi, Dave Rowland. Hello. Sarah, I know you're coming to investigate, but I'm going to tell you right now, it sounds like you drink wine. I don't know if you've been paying attention. I drink wine. I don't think you're going to investigate much. I think you should send your team in there, take an Uber to my house because it seems like we're just going to be drinking wine. I also Natalie too. I have a pool. It's August. Yeah. Just throw in the towel. You're not investigating. Man,
now all you need is a hot tub jacuzzi in there, and like I am sold. I'm booking my ticket right now.
Hi, Brandon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Natalie, I have a pool. Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hello, Brandon. We don't want to hear none of your Southern Uprising crap right now, okay? I'm not listening to none of it.
When I'm I'm messing with Larissa and talking in her ear all night. She's gonna banish you. You're never gonna be able to see her again after this.
I'm gonna bathe in sage.
Oh, okay. So here's a story. Speaking of the whispering,
I got a pool down the road. Sorry.
Conversation derailed.
My sister. We were doing an investigation. She was in one of the guest rooms, getting ready for bed. And I went in there to check on her. Now, we had cameras set up everywhere. So we were monitoring every room, everything. And so I went in there and I took my phone and I put it on speaker and I put it under her pillow. And then my uncle was on the other end of the line upstairs in a different bedroom. And we were all up there watching the cameras and watching her. And he was talking and whispering into the phone. And she freaked out thinking that, there was something talking to her. Oh my gosh. And it was just us, those blooper moments, but we were just giving her so much crap because of what she was doing. And just watching her reactions were priceless.
Oh.
So the whispering in the ear at night, yeah, that's what we did. That was great.
Oh, what is happening?
Y'all got me up late. I told you, Dave. Stop lying to Angie and me. He knows what he did. It's 7:54. You are 54 minutes past your bedtime, Dave.
Oh, South. What's Brandon? You don't listen. It's a Southern thing, isn't it? You don't listen.
It's no Brandon here.
Alan, that's a blank comment.
That's no comment. He said he's off tomorrow. Dave, I'm telling you, I got your card. Natalie, do you know who these people are?
Sort of. You have an
Sorta.
idea?
You'll
No,
know.
I haven't met that kind of situation.
You come out here in September, you'll know.
Okay.
You'll know.
Man,
A bunch-
just hook, line, and sink. You're working it. You're working it tonight, Larissa.
She's good at that.
I deal with all these people all day long. Like I told Dave at 4:00 he wasn't going to bed at 7. He's lying. Brandon, I told Brandon not to message nonsense at 6:30.
Did you really? You
Yes.
messaged him ahead of time and said, keep your
Yes.
southern crap out of my show. Shout out to David Childers, Facebook user.
They
I
all know what.
Third Eye Events, that's the only profile that shows us who you are, I believe. I could be wrong.
We are gonna have fun, Sarah. I'm gonna bring alcohol to our house.
David said, I don't even know what state I live in. Are you already drinking? The wife, the Merlot is with you.
Wait, let's play the clip while we have them on. Are you guys gonna pay attention to our actual evidence clip? Are you here for evidence?
Or are you
The
here
show
for the
has
wine
been
talk in the
derailed.
comments? All right, get your cheese and crackers and your wine and your headphones and listen. And
Wine and spirits hour.
Correct.
yes.
What did you just say?
Nothing. I heard something.
Somebody just yelled Jesus Christ.
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
Did you all hear?
Cheese and Christ.
No,
what we got
I'm
going on.
laughing because my husband sounds like he's being interrogated. I heard a mumble. Like,
But all of the members that said something in the background almost sound like they're about to get beat. They're like, it
terrified.
wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Right.
like, do we tell her that she's crazy? Like that we didn't hear anything.
Like, we didn't hear it. What's wrong
We
with
didn't
her?
hear shit, Larissa. Like, go home.
Hashtag poor Alan. Why is everyone always... You men, get
know.
out of here.
Oh, he's got it so bad.
Did y'all record me and my ex-wife for you? Hashtag marriage.
Oh my god. This show never stays on track. How are we going to make a show about evidence and not talk about evidence for 48 minutes?
Oh,
We did, but we do. We talk about a little bit of everything and anything. Alan is awesome.
Alan
Now
has like
it's
a fan.
the women, the
I'm
ladies
gonna go to
of
the
the
comments,
team.
and you all can have him as a host.
Mic drop.
Correct. I can drink in the comments too. Like, I can type and drink.
one-handed
Type
type while
paragraph.
you're sipping that.
Yeah, you could drink your wine and you could type paragraphs that cover everybody's faces. Alan.
Or just get the giant wine cup that fits the whole bottle in one
I'll
cup
get a straw.
with a nice long, that's where I was going, nice long straw. You have both hands to type while you're
Alan is a
Alan is a sexed. It says sexed beast. Brandon, what are you and Alan doing on your spare time?
Alan is going to need a security detail at the Paracon.
I
Like,
think
this is
you're,
ridiculous.
you're trying to conjure the wrong thing there, buddy.
Hashtag soon to be X.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god.
you're
Alan.
awesome too. All of you are awesome. That's what we thought, Frank. You
Okay.
watch it. I'll swing on you next
Right.
investigation you come to. You side with the men too much.
For real though.
Alan,
Alan is twisted steel and set up. What
Set
is
up
going
you?
on here?
Who's
Alan
on
is
your
busy.
autocorrect?
Like, you don't have time for this garbage. Tell him, like, you got shit to do.
I'm sorry. It's funny.
All right. I'm starting to feel a little bit skeptical, Sky.
Next time
Just
I'm on
gonna-
here, I'm gonna have a plate of cheese and crackers and a bottle of wine.
Oh, hold on. David's got his questions. Here we go with the what's y'all's most scariest experience? I wish I could have your voice on here, David, to read it.
I know.
What's y'all's most scariest experiences on investigation that you wouldn't go back? I haven't had one of those yet, truthfully. Besides the place that I grew up in, but I always want to go back.
Well, see, and that's just it. Like, I've had some pretty scary experiences, but I don't think, I wouldn't not go back. I mean, I am going back in June, so.
That's what makes us want to do this, right?
Right.
What about you, Natalie? You don't have one that you wouldn't go back to?
No, not really. I mean, the only ones I wouldn't go back to are because there's not anything there. I mean, it's just, this is what I live for. This is what I thrive off of. And, it keeps me going. And I don't know. I mean, there's so many unanswered questions that, I mean, you spend at least 6 to 8 hours walking around, stumbling in the dark, talking to yourself, going, show me a sign. And then the moment something happens, you want to turn about face and run away. That's why are you there in the first place? I mean, the whole point is you were asking for it. Here it is. That's when you need to start asking more questions. So it actually gets me more excited and wants me to keep going back and keep asking the questions, not turn around and book it.
So I actually don't, I can't recall like any one that wouldn't make me go back, but I actually have an answer to that, Natalie, because I'm a weirdo. I'm terrified everywhere I go. I look for validation. I sense and see and hear and smell and all that. I have all those senses and they scare me. And a lot of times I don't know if I'm really in my head or if I'm really feeling it. So yes, I do ask for that confirmation, but then when it happens, it scares the shit out of me. So
fair enough. Yeah. Like, and I understand that. I understand that from also being able to experience those things. I think for me, it comes down to, I have a system. When I go into a place, the amount of time and effort I put into my protection barriers that I put up, my wards that I put up, and being able to know how to shut it down. When it's too much, I can close it down and go, okay, enough's enough. Or I can go, okay, you can talk, but you guys need to get in line and take a number, and we'll do one by one, taking turns. Because sometimes like I said, that group that's normally there, you have these people and they're talking, and sometimes you've got one that just wants to barrel through to the front of the line. They're like, you need to talk to me now. Like, nobody else matters. And you have to be able to psychically be able to go, you need to step back, get out of my face, out of this barrier, because you're not allowed in here, and I will help you, but you need to take a step back. It works the same way as we do here in reality, as we do with the spirits. And when you have that common understanding and you have those barriers, it doesn't just help them, but it helps you, because what we do is so draining. I know after I do a tapping session, I am just so drained afterwards. I could just sleep for the whole week. And it sucks, because you need to know what your limits are when you're experiencing something like that.
I actually did remember, though, while you were talking, I did remember one that did scare me pretty badly, and it wasn't Andy Gavin's, Alan. And
that's Alan's.
No, he's trying to. It was Andy Gavin's for both of us. But
okay.
Dave, I'll answer this one for you. It was a private, and I wish Marlena was on here with us. We went to a private up in the Finger Lakes region. We were going to do events at this winery, and when we got up there, I don't know that any of us were prepared for what we witnessed. I don't know if this woman was stoned. I don't know if she was drunk. I don't know if she was possessed. I think that this was a moment in time that none of us really knew what we were experiencing. But the activity, the amount of things that were going off around her, the things that were happening, and then her face distorted in front of us, and the things she was saying, we were out of there in 45 minutes. It took us an hour to set our stuff up and 45 minutes to book it out of there. I was terrified. We were all scared, and we still haven't even gone through that footage. That was back in, I want to say, October.
Yeah, Alan agrees. It was creepy.
And we did see shadow people outside there. We went to the bathroom outside. There was a porta potty out there. And I saw something over by the barn. I don't even really know to this day what I really saw out by the barn. I felt like there were things there that weren't like, I couldn't identify them. It was more like related to the land. It was not I'm not versed in this stuff. I don't know what I saw. I was very uncomfortable.
So
That's
Natalie,
how I felt.
David asked what your outtake on shadow people. Are they low manifestation or high manifestation? Larissa said that she can't give.
No.
So shadow people for me, and I think everybody just has a different way of how they look at the different forms of manifestation and the type of entities that we come across. I think shadow people are a classification of their own. I don't think they were living. I don't think that they're necessarily spirits, where they'd be, I guess, more on the entity side if you wanted to put it there. But I feel like they are. Normally, I would classify them as low manifestation, but I also know that, particularly on one case that I worked, these shadow figures were able to do more physical harm, and they were actually tormenting a little girl, and that was probably one of the few cases that I've worked where they were more abrasive than other cases that I've worked with them. Normally, shadow figures, they're there, but they're usually not my main focus. They're not my main thing that I'm dealing with. They're more of a background piece. I acknowledge them. I know they're there. I watch for them, but they're not the ones that normally come forward. And yeah, they're not human. I don't think they were ever living. I think they are this manifestation of energy that is either put out by natural resources or it's put out by emotions, energy that we put off as human beings because we emit all this energy constantly. And when something, traumatic happens or anything, there's this burst of energy. And that's how we ended up with objects that have that residual energy on them that replay activity back. Is because they've collected that burst of energy and it just keeps feeding itself. And I feel like a lot of shadow people are the same way. But I think like each one is slightly different. You've got some that are observers, and then you have others that are not. So I think each case is a little different on that. But no, I don't think that they're human. I don't think they've ever lived. But I think that they could have been created from somebody who lives or has lived.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. David said he had a video of that happening to him at Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum to a woman. I'm going to assume that was to seeing the face distort.
I think that that's what he meant.
I think that's what he meant too, because he posted it while you were talking about the location in the Finger Lakes.
So like that case with the little girl, those old box TVs that take like 4 people to lift because they're so freaking heavy, that would just go flying off of the nightstand, would just tip over. And it wasn't just like, it was shoved off. And this little girl was suffering from severe night terrors, and she was waking up with bruises and marks on her and would just wake up screaming bloody murder. And on this video, you can just see the shadows. They're just everywhere around her. And the activity was very much so focused around her. And at the time, we were speculating that we might be dealing with some type of like poltergeist activity because of her age and what was happening. But it came down to those shadow figures that we were seeing. But the tenants that had lived there previously were using it for satanic rituals and sacrifices and stuff like that. And we've got some pretty interesting. I have some photos somewhere that we took, and you can see this fog mist. And we were in the woods, and the shapes that were appearing were just so bizarre and very creepy. I'm not the one to use the word demonic looking, but just the figures in themselves had a very chilling look to them. That was very unnerving. So it took a lot of work. It took a lot of visits of going out there and helping her, and cleansing and blessing and protections, and just we had to get her away from the location so that she could detox from everything as we cleansed everything out. And then eventually she went back, and we stayed in contact for a couple of years, and then eventually went our separate ways. But it was one of those really disturbing type cases, especially when you're dealing with children.
Wow. How old was she?
She was 12, and I think by the time we stopped talking, she was like 14 or 15.
So puberty too, like
Yep.
right in the throes of puberty.
Which is why we were speculating potentially a poltergeist.
Yeah. Yeah. That's rough. Those are rough ages.
It gets you right in the feel
Yeah.
goods. And that makes it really hard. It makes it really hard. Or, you see how somebody was before all this started, photos, videos, and then by the time you see them, that they're just so withered down.
Yeah.
And just mentally beat down. It's driven families apart. It's driven so much, and it really does test you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watchers are non-human entities that feed off of fear. They're not powerful and feed off of children's emotions. Well, that's very good to know as a mom myself, with sensitive children.
It's funny because last month and this month, actually, this coming Saturday, is my next workshop, and I've been focusing on children and the paranormal, and children who have abilities, and how parents and the children themselves can work on harnessing and controlling those abilities and how they interact. And I think there's a fine line between being blunt and telling your children that dead people are coming to you and talking to you, and explaining this is what I experience. I've experienced it for years. You have inherited this from me. These are the things that you can expect to potentially happen as time goes on. This is how you can prepare. You don't need to be afraid of it. You can talk to me, you can talk to other people, and that understanding. And even at a young age, they might kind of pass it off, but children listen a lot more than we give them credit for. And I think that by helping to help them understand and eliminate that extreme level of fear when it happens, and thinking that you're going crazy, because even as adults we go through it, I think can help tremendously to help them start preparing and putting up those protection walls, so that they're not affected so negatively.
So when I was growing up, my family was very strict, Italian, old school, off the boat, Catholic. We didn't talk about anything. And my dad's side, although they were also Italian and Catholic, they also came from carnies. So they were very mystical and tarot readers and all that. But I didn't grow up with their side. So the gene came from my dad's side, and I was psychic, and my mother did not know how to handle me. And I would tell her things, and there was no way to know these things. And I slept walk, and I did weird things, and I was weird. So I was always treated differently. Well, and like just wasn't talked about. So I didn't talk about it at all. And then I grew up and I went on my way, and I just did my own thing and kept it to myself. And when I had my daughter, I knew right away. By the time she was 2, I knew she had it. I knew she had it. She would tell me things at 2 years old. So she ended up living with her dad on and off when she was 10 years old. And then he didn't believe in any of that stuff. So she never talked about it. And I didn't want to just come out and be like, hey, do you see dead people? Because I didn't want to, I just didn't want to be that mom. But at the same time, I didn't want to be afraid to tell me about it.
Yeah.
When she was 12, she had a breakdown because she didn't know how to process any of the stuff that she had been seeing. And she finally was like, Mom, I see dead people. And so I learned from that. Thanks, Dave. I learned from that. And now with my youngest, who's also a female and definitely has had it as well, from the start, as soon as she started telling me what she was seeing, I took a completely different approach. I said, whenever you see somebody and they scare you, you tell them, come see mommy. And so now I'll hear her in her room at night. She is almost 7 years old. I will hear her talking, and I'll hear her say, I don't want to talk to you. Can you go talk to my sissy or my mommy? I'll hear her saying that. And it's a completely different, there's like no fear there. But I feel bad because I think my daughter, my oldest, must have been so afraid because I didn't know any different. It was different for me. And so I tried to take a different approach.
People are so quick to pass it off as a child's active imagination.
Mhm.
But as adults, we sit here and tell them Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, they're all real. But you're telling me spirits and ghosts aren't? That doesn't add up. No, but there is a stigma. There's a stigma with children talking about the paranormal, and through the last couple decades, I mean, the paranormal has become more well spoken about, but it for a long time was very taboo.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with mental health, and I'm sorry, but when you're going to sit there and tell your child that they're going crazy and that they're just seeing things that they're not real, you're adding to the mental health dilemma that we're fighting. And now we're having to help them, not just because they're surrounded by spirits that need help and they're coming to them because they're a lighthouse, a beacon, but we're now having to help them on a mental health crisis as well. And that can do so much damage that can take a really long time to recover from.
Absolutely. You need to go in with empathy and compassion for your child and speak to them like you would speak to, not as an adult, but down at their level.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you said beacon of light. That's what I call my oldest, who I thankfully had a grandmother who was very compassionate with me because she also had different abilities. So she was a little more understanding. But as a child, it was passed off as imagination for most of the adults in my life.
Yep.
So when it came to him, I was like, it's okay. We can talk.
Yeah.
We can do this. I don't want you to be scared. And he was terrified. Like when he was little, he was terrified. I would have been too. With the things he came and told me, I was like, I'm scared.
This past weekend, I was staying with my mom, helping her. And I was laying there in bed, and it was like 2:30 in the morning, trying to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, I could sense that there was somebody in the room with me, that there was a male there with me. And I kind of thought that maybe it was my dad coming in, to grab something from the room. And I was laying on my side, and I pulled the covers down. I looked at the door, and there was this man there, and his face was melting. And this feeling of just like, it wasn't mean, but it was aggressive in the sense of like, I need your help. Listen to me, please help me. And when I looked at him, I could just see it melting. So, eventually he went away, and I got the next day and I told my mom about it, and she goes, oh yeah. She goes, that was the fairy. He was from the fairy explosion. What are you talking about? Because she's got quite a few spirits that live in her home. And she goes, he doesn't show up very often, but a few people have witnessed him. She goes, he died in a ferry boat explosion off the Mississippi there in St. Louis. And he, from the fire, and he's been seen with the distortion of it being burned. And sometimes you can smell that like charcoal burning flesh smell. But he's never mean or aggressive. He's just more like very pronounced, very obvious that he's there. But then just kind of comes and goes. And that was the first time I met him, and I didn't even know that he was a resident living there. So that was confirmation for me, because sometimes we're spot on the mark, sometimes we're not. But if we go, hey, I don't know if this is just me or not, but I'm feeling kind of funny. I feel like maybe there's something over here. Snap a photo, snap several photos. And if there's nothing there, great. But if there is, then yay, I did my job. Woo, pat on the back. And it's one of those, because even for us, sometimes we do question our own abilities. And are we really experienced at this? Or do we really have the ability to communicate when others can't? And it's a good feeling, because it's reassuring for us and our own mental well-being. Because if we're not in the right state of mind when we're going into this, things are not going to work out the way that they're supposed to, and you're not going to be able to have a productive conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to take one last question from the comments. We have you experienced astral protection? I think you mean projection.
Yeah. So I know for me, I actually have a kit somewhere that was teaching astral projection. I've experienced it a couple of times, but it's not something I'm very comfortable with. That out of your body feeling is not something that I like very much. More so the sensation of falling, because I'm actually definitely afraid of heights. So that sensation when my body is, transitioning, it makes me very uncomfortable. So it's really hard for me to actually make that transition without pulling myself back out of it. But that's just for me. I don't know how other people are with it. It's not something I really talk a lot about. But it's definitely a meditation state that I have to work on to get to there. And for me, like, I don't know about you, Larissa, but when I have spirits trying to communicate right here on like the side of my forehead, I just get this pressure, this throbbing sensation. And that's usually how I know that there's somebody there trying to communicate. And I get that when I start trying to expand out and I get into that mental state. For some reason, it just enhances the lighthouse. And it just makes it really hard to try to do astral projection.
I always get a breeze in my left ear and freezing cold on my left. It's always on my left.
Yeah, see, mine's always on the right side.
See, that's weird. So it's just different for everybody. I've never had astral projection. Never.
Never?
No, never.
If you did, it would terrify you.
No, I imagine like she said, it takes deep meditation. I don't meditate. I know, gasp. I don't meditate. I've been told I need to. I don't protect. I don't do any of the stuff I'm supposed to do. I know, gasp. I just don't. I don't, guys. It's probably why I'm also terrified of my own shadow in haunted locations, but I don't have the ability to concentrate. I've tried. I probably have ADHD. What do you want me to say?
Personally have astral projected many times.
See? How do you do it?
Meditation, and I do it in my dreams.
Yeah.
My grandmother's a dream walker, which that's kind of hard to. It's different. Yeah.
It's a very Native American belief.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm
and I don't know if she passed the dream walking gift to me, but I 100% do astral project. I started doing it in my dreams and didn't know what it was, and then I started meditating so that it didn't scare me as much.
Mm-hmm.
How do you meditate? I'm just curious. Like, I've tried it so many times. How do you actually do it?
There's different ways. I mean, sometimes you can use a guided meditation where you could just close your eyes. And a lot of it comes down to being able to focus on your breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And just that counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and getting used to that rhythm, because it's not something you can practice for 20 minutes and astral project. I mean,
no,
it is something that takes time and it takes development, and you have to retrain your body in a sense to be able to reach that level with it. So it's not easy for everyone. I know for me, it's really hard because when I start getting into that, I have intrusive thoughts and then they just kind of overwhelm. And then I kind of like detour. I take a detour and then I have to like come back.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
I
that happens to a lot of people.
So I did one meditation where it was like a magnifying glass or a camera. It was like looking through the lens of a camera. And you would zoom in really close to the ground and there'd be an ant and you're just following this ant. And then you would go back and maybe now there's a beetle in the ant. And then you eventually go back until you get to a giraffe and you're looking up at the top from the giraffe. You can't see the ant anymore. You can't see the beetle, but you can see the dog and the horse. And you just keep going further and further back with this lens until you're just open up to this like universe. And you're just open up to the stars and to total darkness. And then you're able to transition through that. So that's a meditation that I've used.
That's interesting. I've tried guided on YouTube with like some guy talking. Fail. Epic fail.
People have to have a certain like tone and certain way that they present it, because otherwise I'm just like, you're boring me. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm not meditating.
I've fallen asleep.
David says do it when you're going to bed. Imagine yourself. What?
I did want to say something about meditating. One of the times I tried to do it recently, I did have something funky happen and it did frighten me. So that could be one of the reasons why I didn't try it again.
Like, I know for me that falling sensation really gets to me.
It wasn't a falling sensation. I had a jolt of energy. Actually, I don't know if I was falling asleep. I don't know if I was in an in-between state. I really don't know what was going on. But I got really relaxed and I felt like a burst of energy just come like straight up out of like my chest, and it jolted me awake, and I didn't like that. Like, not awake, but I don't know if I was sleeping. That's the thing. I didn't like that feeling. So
And I mean, I do think it's different for everybody. I think some things are the same, but I think for the most part, everything's just a little different.
Typically happy places, yes. Some people go just very strange places though, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't even know where I was. I was on my bed.
Places.
Yeah, some people are a lot better at this than I am. It's not my forte. It's not something I dabble in very often.
That was gas. LOL.
I'm kind of
Dave, you're an hour and a half past your bedtime.
It could have. I wonder if that was like part of your out of body experience as you were meditating, and your soul or like something was just like, no, we don't like this, and we know we don't like it.
So our brain naturally puts up those barriers. That's why we have that falling sensation, because it is something that our bodies are not familiar with, and it's a safe catch that our brains have put into place to prevent you from getting to that point. So it's something that you have to work through. I know, like when I do some of my meditations, like before an investigation, for me, it's a room. I'm sure people here are pretty familiar with Harry Potter. And the room, was it Room of Enchantments? And it grows based on your needs. For me, that is my room. That is how I have it set up. You know, I start in this room and it's white. White, sometimes it's more of a light pink, depending on the energy I'm putting out. And then there's a door. And then through the door, it's like going into the DMV. You've got chairs lined up and you take one of those pool tickets. Okay, that is where my spirits go, and they sit there and they take a number and they wait. I can shut that door and I can prevent them from coming through. And that is how I designate it. And if I have to throw up a wall and make another room, then so be it. And I do that, and I create this to what I need. For me, water is a really strong element for me, along with earth. So a babbling brook is something that I use very frequently. So if I'm meditating, I have the sound of running water or crackling fire in the background, like a fireplace. And I use that to help me focus.
Oh, wow.
I go to a garden, but I think I might need a door.
A swinging gate. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Alan getting blamed for not
I'm just going to get peyote and call it a friggin' day.
You know, I would not mind getting the experience to go and do like that women's retreat for the mind, body, and spirit, where you go out and you partake in all of this for that spiritual enlightenment.
Good night. Good night, David.
Good night, David.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind being able to go and do that, because even with our abilities, like I feel like maybe that would help understanding me and the way that I work and the way that my abilities work, and just kind of helping clear out all of that fog that I've collected over the years, because we don't realize just how much, and not even just spiritual attachments, but how much crud we take on from people that we just pass on the street. And we can't see it, but we can feel it. And to be able to just get rid of it and wash it off, I feel that would make us so much more in tune with our abilities and what we can do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
Well, are we ready, Larissa?
We are. Natalie, I have to say, you hold the record, girl. You hold
the longest show. Yes.
It's still go for another 2 hours.
But engaging, interesting, fun. Yeah. No, we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Listen, Dave, you said you were going to bed, Dave.
Dave's about to get grounded.
He's going.
Dave will be late for our appointment at noon.
No, I loved being on here and talking with you guys. It was great. I really can't wait to be able to work with you guys in person. I mean, this is great, but being there in person just makes it so much better.
It will make it better.
My only concern is I feel like you're so tiny and I'm gonna be so big next to you. Like,
See,
I make people feel good about themselves.
I don't know that that's true. I feel like I'm gonna have like a little accessory. Like,
Just give me a little trampoline. I'll just.
David, go to bed. Everybody knows you believe.
he ain't going to bed. Get out of here.
So yeah, I really can't wait to work with you guys. I mean,
We
it's
can't wait.
definitely on my bucket list to do. So
You better hurry up. No, seriously, it was awesome. You got to do this again.
absolutely.
We want you to come up here, not only for Hell House, not only for Paracon. You just got to come investigate with us.
Yeah.
If we can't make it down there, but we'll make it happen. We're always trying to go to new places.
Yeah,
Always.
absolutely.
And we're
So-
excited to have you on the next. I think you're on twice with us again in the following months.
Yeah. I tried to space them once a month so you didn't get too tired of dealing with
Dude, I'm like,
All right, you're great conversation, which means we have more conversation coming. Dude, I'm like 5'6".
Oh, shut up.
Is he really?
I can have my own lollipop guild.
Oh god.
I'm gonna throw the EVP up one last time before I say my little ending spiel. Here we go, cheese and crackers. Wait, you gotta stop laughing. They're gonna hear you.
Sorry.
I'm muting you.
Lollipop.
It's muted.
What did you just say?
Nothing. I heard something.
Somebody just yelled Jesus Christ.
I heard a mumble.
Somebody just yelled.
All
And
right.
that's a wrap.
Yes. Paranormal? Yes.
Yeah.
Paranormal, Larissa?
Yes.
Giggles with the paranormal.
Cheese and crackers.
Natalie, what say you?
Paranormal.
We need
All
a
right.
gavel.
Paranormal it is. Before we start asking funny comments. Oh, the vulgar. All right,
This
guys.
is the best episode yet. It
So,
goes
yes,
down in
absolutely.
history.
This was a wonderful episode. Thank you, everybody that watched us tonight, that has shared and liked and just has thoroughly enjoyed our little adventure that we have been on. Thank you for coming and doing this with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you watch this later on, make sure you tell us in the comments what you think. Was it paranormal? Our #1 fan, Frank, says it was. Thank you, Natalie, for joining us. Thank you for Larissa for being an awesome co-host.
We love you all. Seriously. Good night.
We really do. Good night. Wait, hold on. I gotta find my. Here it is. Here's the commercial, guys. Have a good night.